My name is Allison Lacoursiere from Your Clear Aligner Coach, and in this podcast, I'm going to give you the top 3 tips for social media marketing in your practice today.
OrthoMarketing.com, 360-degree digital marketing solutions for your practice.
Well, hello everybody in podcast land. This is Dean Steinman from Ortho Marketing, and we are back with another exciting podcast for you. It is now early September 2021, and I hope everybody had a great summer. And now it's fall, and a lot of the places around the country are getting a little cold, and leaves are starting to change. So it's always a good reason to smile. And today is a really good reason to smile because I have back with me one of my all-time favorite guests here. We have Allison Lacoursiere, and Allison is an Instagram marketing expert. She is the CEO and founder of Clear Aligner Coaching. She is a speaker, she is a consultant, and all around great person. So we're here to talk a little bit about social media, especially Instagram for your practice. So Allison, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you? I really appreciate the intro, and I'm happy to see you again.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us. All right, so we're going to kind of jump right into it. So Instagram. All right. So obviously social media is a huge part of any marketing program and a conduit for new business for any business across the board, especially for the dental industry. So we're going to talk a little bit of basics today. And we're going to talk about what, who, and how when it comes to Instagram for your practice. So let's first jump right in. And Instagram, what is Instagram as far as marketing for your practice and branding for your practice?
So Instagram is a beast of a platform. It really is like 6 or 7 platforms in one. And the cool thing about Instagram is it keeps iterating on itself. So they keep changing. They're noticing any other platforms that are coming onto the market that are popular by new audiences. So Snapchat, TikTok, and Instagram is a platform that keeps changing and growing to be able to offer the features that other platforms are doing. So why is this important? It's important because Instagram continues to be the platform that everyone goes back to. And so it's very visual in nature. It's a very visual platform. It really focuses on video content. It focuses on photo content and being able to showcase kind of lifestyle content, creating an authentic way to market yourself in the social media world.
So there are a whole bunch of social media platforms out there. Obviously, you've got things like Facebook, and you've got TikTok now, and you've got Pinterest, and you've got YouTube, and you've got LinkedIn, and you've got Cool My Business. So what about Instagram is so attractive to you for a practice, and why are you focusing on the Instagram?
Yeah, I love that question because I know business owners can get overwhelmed with where do I market? Who do I market to? Like what platforms are really going to give me that return on investment? And Instagram is a cool one because our millennials live there. And millennials are the largest cohort of purchasers and decision makers the world has ever seen. And so they are coming into the marketplace, and they are not only taking care of their families and their household, they're also taking care of their parents and their children. And so this is really important because we have 500 million people showing up on Instagram every single day and 1 billion active users. And they are your millennial audience. And so that's really important in today's marketplace because we want to be able to connect with those millennials, target them, and be able to speak to them because they are the ones that are making the purchasing decisions in today's marketplace.
So, obviously you've got different people on different social media platforms. Like you said, this is the decision makers here. What makes Instagram different than Facebook?
Instagram allows you to see a little bit more behind the scenes of a practice or a business or of a person. You get to kind of have that visual insight into somebody's life, into somebody's business. And that's really popular right now because authenticity drives purchasing. And on Instagram, you're able to see more faster. And so with our younger audiences who are a little bit, have a little bit of a shorter attention span, or they, want to see things faster and easier, Instagram provides the avenue for us to be able to showcase more of who we are, what we do, how we help faster and more authentically than Facebook.
Excellent. All right. So now, let's talk about who, and we kind of just touched on it a little bit more, dive a little bit more into, the demographics of somebody on Instagram, and specifically a practice. When a practice does jump into the social media world, who are you trying to reach specifically, and how do you do so? And we'll talk about how afterwards. But you mentioned the millennials. You mentioned the decision makers there. Is this a finite group, or do you see this expanding constantly as far as the demographics go? Is the reach getting larger and larger? So I remember when we started doing social media for clients, 8-10 years ago, the largest growing segment in the social media market was women over 60. That was Facebook's largest growing population, So as far as who, is there, do you see this growing, or is it kind of have, borders on it as far as who's on the Instagram?
So it definitely is growing. Right now, what we're seeing is the age range of 25 to 34 kind of millennial moms. That is, especially in the ortho world, the target audience that we want to be speaking to, because they're making decisions for their household, their kids. They're making decisions for themselves, their families. So the millennial moms on Instagram are a really, really attractive target audience that we want. But what we're also seeing is that the 35 to 44 market is also coming onto Instagram as well, because they want to see their friends, their kids, their family. They've kind of started to migrate to the platform because millennials have stopped using Facebook, and Gen Zs, most of them don't have Facebook. And so we're seeing kind of a migration of people to Instagram almost because they feel like they have to, because they want to stay connected to the people that are on Instagram. So that's typically what I'm seeing, is almost 40% of our audience is 25 to 34 millennial females. And then what we're seeing is around 30% is 35 to 44. And so these are great. This is a great audience for our ortho practices, for our dental practices. It's a great audience for us to be able to connect with in a very lifestyle and authentic way.
Great. So let's talk about how, as far as Instagram. So when you say connect to them in a lifestyle way, first, what is the best type of content to put out as a practice? Should they be putting up pictures? Should they be putting up videos? Should it be salesy? What is it, something that if you had to give somebody, okay, today, here's 2 tips on what you should do and how to take put a post up, what would you say? How is it a practice embrace Instagram?
Amazing. I'll give you 3 tips because I have 3 really good ones. And this is something that you and I have talked about a lot being in the marketing world, is that we're seeing this shift in social media where stock images and curated content used to be extremely effective. And unfortunately, it's not anymore. Stock images are not effective on your platform anymore. So what does that mean? That means, if I can give you one tip, take authentic content. What does authentic content mean? It means showing your face behind the mask, showing the inside of your practice, your waiting room, your lunchroom, what you guys are doing on your lunch break as a team, really showing who you are as a practice, and not being afraid to have it not be curated all the time. So that's my first tip, is don't post stock images as much as you used to or at all anymore, and start posting authentic content. My second tip would be to use the cadence, give, ask, give education, give entertainment, ask for them to book a consult. You don't want to be selling all the time. You don't want to be just posting, come into our practice, come and buy clear aligners, come and book a consult all the time, because people will get tired of that. They want to see education. They want to be entertained. So give, ask. And the third one, get comfortable with video content. Video content is growing every single year. It is 80% of the content that is being consumed on the internet today. And it's growing year over year. And so when we see platforms like TikTok blow up because of their viral video content, we know that we need to start creating video content in our practice to start attracting that millennial or younger audience. And so those would be my 3 tips today to really be effective on the Instagram platform.
And one last question now is, obviously practices are busy and people are busy, and at Ortho Marketing here, the biggest hurdle we face is getting content from practices. So what's the best way to do so? Should the doctor be involved? Should they have one person who's the official social media provider in the office? What's the best use of personnel, and who should be responsible for the content?
I love this question because this is the problem that I solve all the time in practices. And I would say it's twofold. So the doctor needs to set the goals. The doctor needs to establish with the team, this is our goal. This is what we're doing. Social media is important for us to grow as a practice. And this is why. So the doctor sets the stage for what's to expect and to set the goals for the practice. And then we create systems in the practice that allow us to capture social media consistently, because it's not just a one and done thing. It really is a new system in our practice. And I tell my clients all the time that social media is going to be an integral role in our dental assistants, our orthodontic assistants, our treatment coordinators, and our office managers' jobs. It's going to be a part of their job description soon because it's becoming so important. And so create it as a part of your system. And my favorite tip is, in your morning meeting, look at your schedule and say, what 2 patients can we capture today, or what 2 pieces of content can we capture today that we can make sure that we're consistently capturing that authentic content. And if we do 2 a day, we will always have enough content to be posting and be effective.
So realistically, we 2 a day, based upon how many days in a week? 3 days, 4 days? Like, so should we be posting 4 times a week, 6 times a week, 8 times a week? Is it too much or too little?
I would say posting 5 times a week is perfect.
Okay.
7 times a week is great. But what I would typically say is quality over quantity. So don't just be posting things that aren't in alignment with your company, with your brand, with your vision, just to post content. Like, make sure that there's a purpose to it. So if right now you're like, consistently, I can only post 3 times a week, do that until you get the systems in place and like the cadence in place to be able to post 5 times a week. Quality over quantity.
Awesome. That's great. So thanks so much. This is great information here, guys. So we're going to cut it off here because this is just a little teaser here to be continued down the road in our next episode. So Allison, thank you so much for this great information, guys. If you must be doing social media for your practice. If you don't, you're doing yourself a disfavor. Your competition is for sure getting involved. And if you don't, you're losing out. So social media is a must. And you really have to get involved with this and take your practice to the next level using social media marketing, especially Instagram. So, Allison, thank you so much for this great information. Everybody make sure to tune in for our next podcast, and you'll learn a little bit more and be able to pick Allison's brain. So everybody out there at podcast land, thanks so much for listening. Happy marketing. Happy smiles.
orthomarketing.com. 360-degree digital marketing solutions for your practice.